After releasing my video going through how the new drip feed from the Acid Labs DLC works, which included G's caches, stash houses, store robberies and street dealers, I came away from it thinking the latter needed a more detailed breakdown with regards to the money you can make, and really compare it against the main businesses. So in this video, I'll be going into a deep dive with the numbers for the street dealers and seeing if they are worth doing or not, and I think you'll be very surprised by the results. So without further ado, let's get to it. How the street dealers works is there are 3 dealers dotted around the map that will buy 4 types of product. These are coke, meth, weed and acid, where each dealer is only available to sell to once per day. Each dealer will pay a premium price for one type of product, denoted by a gold star. The chances to get each product bought for a premium is 15% for coke, 20% for meth, 30% for weed and 35% for acid. These products will be taken from your MC business first and foremost, or from your acid lab respectively. If you do not have these businesses, then you won't be able to sell any of your stock. Or if you have no stock in these businesses, then the product will be taken from your nightclub instead, with the exception of the acid lab. The numbers I'll explain will be based on having the 4 businesses fully upgraded. The best way I thought to crunch these numbers was to buy just one batch of supplies for each business and then wait until they have produced their stock. The most you can sell to one dealer is 1 unit of coke, 2 units of meth, 10 units of weed and 10 units of acid. This equates to half a bar of stock taken from your MC businesses, with the exception of acid, which takes just under half a bar. These will be the amounts calculated. The cost to buy the supplies is also different, with coke, meth and weed costing $75,000 and acid costing $60,000. It's worth mentioning that the 150% bonus was only active in the first week of release and will only be active again maybe a few times a year. So for the purpose of this video, I'll only go through the everyday prices, so take this into consideration. So let's look at the MC business product first. As mentioned, to produce stock to sell on to dealers, you will need to pay an upfront cost of $75,000. You can of course source these supplies for free, but the time lost in doing so is not worth it and will only be less beneficial to you. The stock amount you can sell for normally is shown here, with coke being the most profitable, ranging from $210,000 or up to $315,000 if sold in a full public lobby with the high demand bonus. If you were to sell this same amount of stock to the street dealers, you'd only make around $80,000 if none of them were buying at a premium, or roughly $100,000 if one of them was. This is a difference of up to $215,000 less compared to what you could sell it for normally. With meth, selling this stock would be $156,000 or up to $234,000, which a street dealer would only pay around $63,000 for, or roughly $8,500 if one batch was sold to a premium dealer. This equates to a difference of up to $154,000 less. And as for weed, selling this from the weed farm would net you $165,000 or up to $248,000 in a full public lobby. Selling this same amount equates to making $95,000 or up to $110,000 if sold once to a premium buyer. This works out to a difference of up to $138,000 less. These numbers are huge losses in comparison, but you have to remember that there is zero work involved when selling to a street dealer compared to selling them from the business. If we look at pure profit for the money invested, selling coke to the dealer in a best case scenario will only give you $15,000 profit. Selling meth to the dealers with no premium would actually be sold at a loss of $12,000, with the best case scenario making only $4,500. And with weed, selling to the dealers with no premium would be sold at a profit of $20,000 or up to $35,000 if sold once at a premium. These numbers are utterly dreadful. But we still have the acid lab to discuss. Not only does the acid lab cost less to stock up, but the amount taken by the street dealer is also less, taking 0.3 bars of product rather than half. This means that after you sold to 3 street dealers for around $44,500 per day, you're still left with $143,000 worth of stock in your lab. If you sold one batch to a premium buyer, a day's selling of acid would net you $59,500. Once you had sold all of your stock to a street dealer over the next 10 days, you'd have made around $549,000. This is a profit of $534,000. Way more than the potentially $254,000 you would have made selling the same amount of acid through your lab. Just bear in mind that these profits are for the total amount, which cannot all be sold in one day. So selling your acid to street dealers, especially when one of them is buying at a premium, is absolutely worth doing. With the MC business, there is still another way to get the product and for free, and that is through your nightclub. Sourcing stock this way incurs no upfront cost of supplies, so already you're saving money here. So let's look at the payouts. For each unit sold to a street dealer, this equates exactly to the units in a nightclub. So 1 unit of coke sold on the street will remove 1 unit of coke from your nightclub. 10 units of weed sold on the street would remove 10 units of weed from your nightclub. The amount you could sell coke, meth and weed from your nightclub are also almost identical to the average amount you could sell to street dealers, but selling your nightclub in a public lobby will net you the high demand bonus. You're better off holding on to your stock and selling it that way, unless you can sell it to a dealer who would pay premium prices. It does take a long time to replace the stock lost from your nightclub, but most people only sell it maybe once every 1 to 2 weeks anyway. With regards to weed, it's best to have your technicians sourcing the coke, meth and cash, as they pay more than what you'd ever get selling weed. So to recap, always sell your acid to the street dealers and sell the rest of it the usual way, keeping supplies up constantly. Don't sell MC stock from your businesses to the street dealers. I never have these producing stock anyway, as the selling missions suck. Do not have your nightclub staff manufacturing weed, and only sell coke and meth to the street dealers from your nightclub to a premium buyer. So if you found this video useful, please drop it a like and maybe consider subscribing for more. I'm BeatsDown, and I'll see you in the next one.